Alright, so today on the wonderful, lovely gaming Matty Rocks, we're going to be taking a look at enemy creation as well as skills. These are things that are going to be notoriously retty, or things you might want to have in your game. You want to have skills, but you don't have to. You don't always have to have those wonderful, beautiful, lovely skills, as in, like, a double slash or whatever. Okay. A lot of times, skills, in the terms of things as we get in here, is there's a lot of different skills that come pre-done. Guard, attack, guard, duel, triple, escape, wait, heal, fire, spark. There's a lot of these things. But now, if we wanted to say, you wanted to create a new one or whatever, you'd have to come down here and change the maximum to whatever we want. Let's just go with 20 skills. I'm not going to go into too much into depth because this is only an hour, 2-hour game. If you guys also notice that, I did check up on my previous episode, but if you want to take a look at a thing, you go to, you find SumRndmDde damage calculator out on the actual World Wide Web. I only have it downloaded as an HTML so that I can utilize it offline when needed. That's going to help you in creating some of these skills and understanding formulas. So like an attack, you want to set up the attack 4 minus defense 2. But if you're doing somewhere like a fire, you would probably set up something like this, It's set up to work generally the way you want it to. Now, a lot of times there's the element is thunder or whatever you want to call certain elements. Like down here it's going to say, your speed. This is going to tell you how fast a spell's going to go. You can set up different magic types, special or whatever. Certain things will cost certain magic. So, like, if you're talking about special magic skills, in Final Fantasy, you have to spend mana in order to cast fire, or in order to cast that, that ice, or that Isagia, or that Kirgia, you have to spend MP in order to cast it. So you can set that up using the MP cost. Now, in other games, you have a TP cost, or the consumes when using the certain skill. This is when something you are being attacked by, you can have that TP to go slash. When somebody slashes at you and you gain 5 TP, well, now somebody can use that spark, for example, as a TP slash. Or as a, instead of spending magic, they can spend what they receive from being attacked by, or whatever, and whatnot. So, if you wanted to create a new skill, let's do that. You have to say, okay, what kind of skill do you want? I always like to use this in all my games, called Blade Run, okay? And then I'll just set up a random thing. I'm not gonna, let's just do that there, I don't care, whatever. We're gonna set it as HP damage, we're gonna set it up as physical. Now you could say, as a base attack is that, we're gonna do Blade Run with that at a 50 plus. It should be 50 plus, 50 plus, I think. Yep. Okay. You want to make sure it's set to critical. You don't have to if you don't want to. That's just going to tell you things that are going to be in that way, shape, or form. Is that now that's going to set our variance. So if you wanted to say you give them a 20% variance on a spell, you could also set it to 80% or whatever, and it's going to give you a different form. Now you could also do different kinds of formulas. You could do it based off of all these different things, but I typically never touch into that. I always use just a basic attack or magic formula. We could also set up different effects. We could say it could recover a certain amount of HP. We could gain TP. We could say add estates. Now, we could say Blade Run could add a state, and we could say blind. We could set it that it could be at a 100% chance of gaining blind. Okay? But we could also come over here, and you can say we want to make more states. We can utilize different states just like this, except you can say, it's going to change different conditions. You can change sleep, different overlays. Can't move, certain things. I never mess with states that much. I don't know much about it in the first place, but that's kind of there for your browse and amusement. I just usually the basic states that they give you in the game. Now I do want to create an ice thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this thunder, and we're going to choose that over to ice. And we're going to change this over to the ice power using the HP damage. Okay. Now I'm going to copy this heal thing, and we're going to paste it, and we're going to say, now the scope in general in a skill is example like one enemy, all enemies, random person, I'm going to set this to all allies. Now this is 200 plus a mat. We're going to actually do this one. We're going to reduce it down to 150 a mat, but with a 5% extra invariance. No elements, none, it's just recovery. Okay, this is going to be heal 2. I always call this one heal 1. Okay? Just because that's basically generally a way that we can see. Now you want to set it always. Do not set certain things to like spark. Do not set it to always in general. We're going to use spark one enemy. Okay. We're going to copy fire. And we're going to do fire 2. What I always like to do is make sure that fire 2 is reduced from that. We actually do 50, okay, and then we set it to all enemies. That's what I want to do with spark. We're either going to rename this one to ice and ice 1. Okay, so now we got that ice 1 set up and pretty well spot of. We're gonna put 1 in all of these things here because we want to have that creative spell of here's ice 2. We reduce it down to 50, but I add in about a 5% variance to everything because adding that 5% is maybe it's going to change based on what we need it for to do. So now we're going to hit paste. Now I did spell ice wrong again. I hate that sometimes. Magic cost is going to be a 6 TP for all of the certain things. Now Blade Run, we're going to put that as a 15% TP cost. We're also going to copy Blade Run because we're going to use that in another in the boss too. So, but we want it to cost 0 TP in the first place. So ice 2, heal 2, fire 2. We do have this as fire 1. We want to actually change that to fire 2. Make that 5%. All enemies. Add a 50 formula. So that's pretty decent that we've got that there. That's fire 2. This one we're going to change to... Actually, this needs to be spark. spark 2. Okay, and then we're going to go back to doing thunder. I want to create a new one. We're going to also create wind. Okay, we're only going to create one wind, HP damage. It's going to follow a lot similar to the spark formula, but we're going to increase that to about a 30% with a wind. And we're going to set that up to all enemies. Okay. And we'll leave these two blank for now. We may come back and say, we might want to add something into, for example, for other things. Now we can go into classes. Our warrior learns the dual attack. Our dark mage, we want it to set up to, now we come in here, this is where we can set up our learning our skills. So let's go in, let's add in ice 1 as well. Now let's do fire 2, and we're going to set that up to learning at 5. Okay. Ice 2, 5. Actually, no, let's change that. Let's go down by 1 on fire. Okay. We're going to increase ice. We're going to go up by 1 on that one. Okay. And then we'll also add in spark 2. We'll go with 4s there. So it'll basically be, and then we will have wind at level 6. Okay? Then we'll find that that's all we need for the particular, that now we want our mage learning heal 2. Heal 2. And we're going to put that up at 3. Okay. Now we have our light mage, dark mage, warrior, knight. Now our knight can also learn the healing ability of 1, but cannot learn, actually no, we will give Blade Run, and we'll have it learn at level 4. Okay? Blade Run at level 4 with the ability to learn heal at level 3. Okay. So then we can just set it, we'll just set it up to basically going up there so that we don't have to. Then we want our warrior to learn the triple attack, the triple attack at level 9. Okay. Or at a later state, but we might never ever get to level 9. So if you have, it's kind of there as our thing. We'll also give this one a level 9 as a double attack here. Here, so it has that you learn at least a few skills. Now that's pretty darn good for our thing. Now before I do, I want to actually go into our database. I think let's go over to system. XP reserved for members. That's just going to say, hey, everybody's going to have that ability to run through. And that means if they're dead, they're still going to receive that XP no matter what, but they're just going to be rendered useless without it. Knock out by slip damage, that means if you're, by any kind of damage, that means like if you're poisoned, you're going to die. If you have any other kind of spells. Floor damage, anything given to by the state of the game, it's going to do that. It's going to change things. Now we are going to set this up to use the side view battlers because I want to be able to have that available. Okay, so now we are pretty good. Let's hit OK. Now let's go out here to our world map, to our town shopping. Now we notice that we only have these two, and we don't have these rendered any, well, useless. Now when you want to create a town, we're actually let's actually not get into that. I forgot. We were talking about enemies. Sorry about that. Now our enemies. Now this is kind of something where you take a look at. Okay, how is the game going to, what kind of enemies do you want? What kind of ways, how do you want to set the game up? So you know you got these bats, you got these slimes, you got these ogres, and these mentors. Now, I want to add in 10 enemies into this game. But right, let's go 15. Just to kind of give us a little bit of variety. I don't want to be like, so the bats, the slimes, the slime, we're going to copy that slime, okay? We're going to call this one slime, we're going to copy this one, we're going to call this one, they're going to be called slimes, but they're going to be different in color. I want to bring in a yellow slime. Now, they always will have the typical abilities to just attack in general. But let's say that this slime, we want to add in the ability to say, ice is 0%. This is basically when we add our elements and traits, that's going to say they're going to be resistant to ice. Okay? We also want to say it's resistant to water, but it's only going to get a 10% on that. So it's not fully waterproof, but we don't have any water spell in here in the first place. Wind. Now, this thing is ice. It's going to have a 0% wind rate as well. But if it's a fire, if fire is dealt, it's going to deal 100% damage to fire. It's actually going to deal about a 40% damage to fire. And if it's a thunder, it's going to deal 100% damage. Physical is also going to be reduced down to about 15%. Okay? That means anything physical damage or anything physically related into the game is going to say, hey, let's just eliminate all the damage. Now, you want to be able to look at the XP down here. Now with the XP, the rewards are going to be generally different than for each enemy. You don't want to keep them 15, 15, 15, 15. We're going to keep this at a 25 XP. The bats here, we're going to keep the bats, this is just their general thing. They're physical. They're just going to be normal everything. Okay, now I wanted to get back here. We're going to give them about 10 coins. 10 coins. Now, as you can see that our slime is going to have about a 250 HP, our ice slime. We want our fire slime is going to kind of be the same way. Hold on, we're going to cancel that. Let's go. We can copy by hitting Shift, right click, or Control C and bring it over. Okay. Now, we're going to increase our water percentage to about 50% water. Our ice is also going to be 60% or 50%. No, it's actually going to be 100% on the ice and the water abilities. Our wind is going to have a 0% chance on wind, 0% chance on fire, 50% chance on thunder. Okay? That's just saying that it's just a certain way. Now, we're also going to increase the slime's HP by only about a little bit. There, we're going to add in about 2% on attack, 2% on M. We're just adding basically 2% 2 up on everything. Now, we're going to say that we're going to also give an attack, but we're also going to increase this. We're going to just put this at a flat 9.99 rate. Same here. Okay? Because we want this ability to be able to use Ice 2 and regular ice as well. Okay? We're going to come down here. This one's going to be using regular attack, Fire 2, and we also want to set this up so that it can also use Fire 1. That's just basically saying this is all the skills that can be available to you. We're going to increase this to about 35 and 25 gold. Okay? Now we could also say that we could drop some items. Let's do that. Let's drop some magic water. We're going to drop about, we're going to have the probability be dropped a little bit. We're going to also add in our potion, but we're going to increase that to about a 10% drop increase on the potions. We're also going to say that do the same thing here. But we're going to do, this one's going to drop potions at about 8. This is going to drop a magic water at about a 6. And we're also going to drop the item stimulant, or a 10. At a 10 there. So this one will drop those stimulants. This bat will be able to drop the stimulants at a lower rate. So that's basically how we drop items and set things up that needs to be done. We're still going to provide 25 there, but only 15 gold. Actually, no, we'll drop that down to about 20. Okay. Now our ogre, which is our big creature. Now, this thing, the ogre, we could say reduce physical. We could say nothing. We're not going to leave that there. Now, we're going to actually do a 0% on wind, though. Wind power is 0%. Thunder power is going to be about 80% there. Our ice is going to be 70%. Earth, if there's any spells with earth, but actually no. With thunder, we're going to give that about a 50% as well. So everything's kind of got generally, and our fire is also going to be about 60%. I don't know. It's going to be, that's what's going to be. No, we don't have any things to use for storing states or anything. So now we can take a look at this Minotaur as well. Our Minotaur is kind of, our Orc is kind of higher. So we want to give that a 50 XP. Let's give that about a 45 XP. Give that about a 45 gold. Okay. Now we're going to actually put that at 300 as well as the ogre. But it's got it's just got a little bit more power. Actually, no, let's drop that down to instead of 250, let's drop that down to 275 instead. So just to kind of give you a little bit of variety, in terms of things. Now, I'm actually going to keep the attack at bay there, but giving more of a M defense. Okay, this slime, we're going to give a M attack and M defense a little bit more. This is going to be different slimes. Now we can also say that we have our Minotaur. Let's give this guy about a 50. Let's give this guy about a 60, and we'll give this guy about a 100. No, let's give this guy a 500, and we'll make this Minotaur our big badass. So we're gonna increase his attack by about 60, and we'll increase this guy about 40, and we'll give this guy the ability, that blade run that I was talking about. But I want to go down here and we're going to increase his variance to about a 30% using its special blade run. Is a special, not a and it does not cost him any TP. Now I forgot to mention that we can add animations. This is going to be physical attack. Now I'm going to use slash effect, No, not slash effect. Slash special 1. Hold on. We're going to change that to slash special 1. Okay? So that's basically what it's going to be. His is just a little bit more powerful than yours that you learn, but not much. Okay? It's not much in terms of things. So now we go back down to our enemies. Now we have our Minotaur, we have our slime. Now we could say, let's set up another slime. We're gonna paste that. We're gonna change it slime to a fire slime of some sort, Now ice. No, that's our fire slime. Hold on. Let's change that to the fire slime look. We're gonna actually make this one our. Let's go back a little bit, just giving that a little bit of that illusion that there is. Now we're gonna keep these two slimes generally the same, but this one's a thunder slime, so this one's gonna have a 0% on that. Its wind, its fire is generally, it creates the fire, so the thunder will create the fire, so it does, do that. But its physical is still 15%, but its ice and water are going to be basically about 60%, as of when to be dropped down to about 80%, okay? Its wind power is going to be increased to 10%, but everything else is going to stay relatively about the same. So it's pretty good and decent. Now we're going to decrease its ability on that, and since this is doing thunder, we're going to do spark 2 and spark 1. Okay, it will utilize that at a lesser power. So if you have that, say, hey, it's going to be less in terms of using actual skills, basically. We have 3 different slimes. We're going to keep the orc, and we'll just create basically this thing here. And in general, it's not that bad in the way that we're creating. Now, the other enemies will generally create later on, when we get more chances into seeing what we need in terms of things. Now, I do actually want to create a creature. Now, if you wanted to change your creatures and change them to look whatever you want, you can do things by certain ways, like a zombie, like a will-o-wisp, or whatever. I want to throw in here a snake. Okay? Now, the reason why I want to throw in a snake in here is because I also want to add in the ability at attack state poison. Okay? We're going to put it at a 50% chance. Actually, no, let's get that about a 35% chance of poison. But we'll drop the dispel herb. No, not the dispel herb. Maybe. Hold on, let's cancel. Let's go to items. I want to check dispel herb. It removes basically removes any kind of spells. Any kind. So we go back in here, we go to items. Let's take this thing, and it says poison. All it is just going to be the it's going to be just going to be called our snake. Okay? But we're going to put this at about a 200 as well. But we're going to set this thing to about a 30 attack, a 30 a 25 and no, it's going to be 30. We're going to keep the 30. We're just going to keep that. We're going to actually put this down here, M defense. We're going to put this at about a 25%. We're going to put that at a 30 agility, 35 luck. It will definitely drop dispel herbs but we'll drop it at about a 4%. So you might 1 out of 4 chance of getting it. And then we'll increase that to about 30 XP, 35 in gold. Okay, it only attacks, but it does get this poison added on. And I want to make this snake a little bit different than what it calls for in the game. So just to give it a variety. That's all we're going to create for the enemies, showcasing you how to change enemies and stuff. And we got our bat. It's nice. Now, we are going to leave it there. So if you did enjoy this lovely video, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. And if you did subscribe, but you didn't hit that bell notification, shame on you. Because that bell notification is going to tell you that, hey, I've uploaded a new video. So we'll see you guys in the next episode.